Welcome back to the Off the Tools podcast with your hosts Jimmy Hong and Joshua Grutenborg. Today we have an oh so special guest of the name of Christian Batista. Um, we'll jump right into things here. Christian, why don't you just kind of introduce yourself? I know super open-ended question, and maybe a little bit about the services you provide, just so that the listeners can get some sort of gauge on who you are and why the hell you're here.
Yeah, sure. Uh, my name is Christian Batista. I run Precision Painters based out of Lexington, South Carolina. We do a little bit of everything, but mainly we're trying to specialize in popcorn ceiling removal, but interior, exterior, I'm really trying to specialize in that professionalism and just providing like great communication to my customers. That's how I'm trying to separate myself from the rest of the other painters in the local area.
Let's go. Yeah, man. And how did you get involved with our company?
So I actually found you guys through one of your Facebook ads, but I just needed help, man. And so it was very clear from our very first conversation, you guys knew what you guys were talking about. You guys knew a good bit about the painting industry just from your experience from running your own businesses, and I needed help. I needed help from just a scale and actually understand
Hmm.
where I had gaps within my own business, within my mentality with how to run a business too.
Mm,
So that's
okay. Yeah, man. Because when you say like, obviously, looking for help, right? There's tons of people out there that also need help too. So, what was kind of going on in the business that kind of caused you to even look for help to get more work?
so I would have three estimates one week, and then I'd have zero estimates for like 2 weeks. I'm sitting there, twiddling my thumbs, trying to figure out, okay, what should I do? And I think when we got started, I think our first conversation was in June of this year, 2025. Up till that point, I think I had like 40K, but it just wasn't consistent enough. And I needed to create a real schedule, something that could help me get away from my full-time job, and I could focus more on growing the business. And um, that was the biggest thing. That really was just trying to get a consistent schedule.
Mm. Yeah, the word consistency always comes up because if you have some work one week and then not the next, it's not consistent at all, right? You don't even have a marketing system in place.
Yeah.
Forget about even if you had like multiple crews, but you just can't get enough to add the next one. Same thing, right? You're really glued to your situation. So, yeah, even from the beginning, man, like what did our team kind of implement and put in place for you to really continue working with us?
The biggest thing was obviously the marketing, but beyond the marketing, and like setting up the lead flow and making sure that that was all set up. But the biggest thing was around your process, helping me with my process, helping me with my mindset, the psychology of sales. What am I doing wrong? How could I say things slightly different? Um, I know Josh. We've had this conversation a couple of times around. All roads lead, to Rome. Like there's only so many conversations we can have. Same thing with you, Jimmy. Like getting those reps in, knowing, you know, you could. It's like the saying. You hear it all the time, like practice makes perfect. No, it doesn't. It's like perfect practice makes perfect because
Mhm.
if you're doing the same thing constantly all the time, and you think it's the right thing, it's just not. Like you could be shooting your free throws in this awkward way, and yeah, maybe you're landing it, but your form's all messed up, and it's not going to be long term. So it's like it was that perfect practice that you guys helped me like hone in. Um, that was the biggest thing, especially around the sales psychology, because I would walk to an estimate, and it was more guessing with
Mm.
the estimate instead of actually walking in, and I wanted the customers to see my value instead of me walking in knowing that, hey, I have value to provide you. So that's where the biggest change came.
Nice. And honestly, man, one of my favorite things about you is you're just so coachable, so eager to learn, and I'm not surprised that you're getting these results because you basically take all this coaching and you take the marketing, get the leads, and then you put it into practice,
Mhm,
perfect practice to make sure that it's like inevitable that you get results, right? You could literally make a choice of take the coaching and then not use it at all, right? And go back to the same thing, but you don't, and I'm just not surprised. So I'm super proud of where you've come. So I got some numbers here. So you started with us 5 months ago, around like the end of June of this year. And so far, you've gotten about 266 leads in about 5 months.
Yeah.
So about 53 leads per month so far. How much have you booked in total from Facebook, from us? And then we'll go into like estimates if you have that as well too.
From Facebook, it's probably it's over 100K. I don't have my exact numbers, but it's about 100. It's estimated around 150K just from Facebook. That would have never happened on my own. I just know it wouldn't. But the biggest thing was the door-to-door stuff that you guys helped me out with. There was one house in Chapin, South Carolina. It's about a 40-minute drive from where I live. That one house, which I landed from the Facebook lead, Facebook ads, just the assistance you provided me on how to, talk to the next door neighbors. I just landed my 5th house in this cul-de-sac area. All the neighbors know each other. They've seen our work. Quality work, makes a big difference. But then, like, how do I talk to the neighbors? Using, your insight on how to talk to those neighbors so that I can still land them was super helpful. But yeah, I think in total, right now I'm at 234,000 in revenue for the year, and I know we're going to keep on scaling. I don't see why I can't reach 500 next year without a problem in revenue.
And there it is. Look at that. You put the system in place and you're seeing the results because you keep practicing your craft. So yeah, hat off to you, man. Like, that's so sick to see, because literally you're putting these things in place and you're doing the right things and you continue showing up for your business. So especially because, like, I'm pretty sure you mentioned that you quit your job recently as well too, right?
Yeah, I officially quit it in September. I had all this time off, about a month worth of time off, and so I was just using my vacation time to work jobs, doing a lot of the work myself early on in the business. I began the business in 2024, like early 2024. I think it was April, May, right around that time, but then really nothing really. It was just slow. It was just all luck. I was relying too much on, word of mouth and hoping that people would refer me. But then when the beginning of the 2025 rolled around, it was still kind of the same thing. It was growing a little bit more, but I was still stuck. And I was still using all my vacation time to spend all my weekends working these jobs. So then when you guys rolled around, it was a little bit overwhelming at first, running around doing leads. I would take my lunch breaks and do estimates, and then I would log off early and do estimates in the evenings as well, and then spend all my weekends working. But the biggest thing is now I am officially off the tools. So
Hey, the name
Let's
of the
go.
podcast. Let's go.
So it's the systems still, and that you guys are helping me with that with my systems, especially around my team. I'm trying to automate it as much as I can, and your insight has been really helpful. Building teams is really hard. That's the hardest part.
Yep.
It's literally the hardest part is building teams. But I have a really good team now, and just giving them, taking off, those reins, letting them know, just you guys can run with it. Call me if you need me, but like, I trust you guys. And then also letting them know, also passing that same information you've provided to me off to them. Like, hey guys, this is what you need to focus on. Because for my team leads, I only deal with my team leads. And then my team leads, they deal with the rest of the crew. So, but yeah, I'm officially off the tools now.
Let's go. I gotta. Let's go. I love to see it. Like, that is exactly what a big, like, as you're scaling this business, you just can't do everything yourself. Like, that is incredible to hear, man, because you keep on putting those systems in place, you keep on training leaders, you're going to be in a great place, right? So I appreciate it, man. I guess, like, with everything, you mentioned last year you were still running the business. How much revenue did you do in 2024? I'm just curious.
Not very much. About 15K, somewhere in that ballpark. It was about 15K, not very much. And
50.
everything, and the thing is, I was landing jobs, but I was a cheap painter because I was still learning. and I was still the cheap painter up till really, really recently. I mean, the two jobs I landed yesterday, I did a total of just yesterday, 24K. 24,400 in total off of two Facebook leads that came in. Um, One of them was Speed the Lead. I got to him right away. I had an opening yesterday, and so I was able to meet him right away, about an hour after I spoke with him. Um, and then just due to really, it was serendipity. He knew one of my realtors I work with, and it was easy peasy. And the other guy, he told me I wasn't the cheapest guy. But he believed in my process.
Nice.
There was a gentleman that was an old dude. He said, "Okay, I believe that he's a good painter, but I'm not too sure on his quality." The second company was a big painting company in the local area, 360. They were
Hmm.
still cheaper than me as well, but they didn't really want to take the same process I took, and he just felt more comfortable with me. So I'm able to raise my prices now also. That's the biggest thing. I think in reality, if I sold these two jobs a year ago, I think it would have been closer to 12K. I don't think I would have done
Wow.
before.
Right.
Um, and that's really your help. Walking in with confidence, that's the biggest thing. Walking in with confidence, enthusiasm, um, walking in, letting them know that you're the real deal. So using the insight and the coaching that you've given me on how I can walk in and just go, this is the price, and we're worth it, and this is some of my past work. Uh, One of the biggest things I have trouble with still, but it is very helpful. And I know Josh, you've spoken about this before in the past about how if you're a painter, you're a contractor, just period, and you're not uploading stuff at least 3 times a week. How are people going to see your work? Even just
Hmm.
something as simple as like before and after pictures. I try to do reels; they're super helpful,
Hmm.
and just staying on the social media side of things has been really, really helpful. And I still need to work on it more, but that's also helped. Taking that advice um, has been very, very helpful. Like I try to make it a priority. I really do. It's a little hard sometimes since I'm still doing a lot of the administration stuff in the background, still doing the estimates, running around doing quality management, and I am trying to pass that quality management off to my team leads. But I'm also selling me, so that I can continue to raise my prices. It's me I'm selling, and it's the way I'm talking to the customers. So,
Nice,
It's
man.
difficult to conceptualize sometimes because like you'll have to like post these things on Facebook with no like necessarily like immediate return that you can
mhm,
tangibly necessarily see, but it's like I still know I need to be doing this because
mhm,
I know that like even in conjunction with my ads, like that's how my organic is going to
yeah,
reach more people
yep.
and stuff like that, right? So Christian, I'd be curious to hear from you. you know uh, I see you as a man that also loves personal development, which I think is you know you have to as an
Hmm.
entrepreneur, business owner, whatever. Your business is going to expose the weakest part of you at all times, whether
Mhm.
you like it or not, like a snake out of the grass, like just constantly coming for you. What do you think is so obvious to you now in terms of what you needed 5 months ago that you fixed?
So obvious from now from the yeah from that person from the
Personal
development
development
side,
standpoint, yeah.
definitely just always putting the customer first and also checking my mouth. So often I had a customer a couple weeks ago, and I didn't matter what I didn't matter what I did, and I didn't do anything wrong. Didn't know I couldn't make her happy,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just sometimes you got to hold your tongue, and just realize, okay, it doesn't matter like what I say to her. Just hold, check my ego. It's nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with her. Uh, that's the biggest thing because you're dealing with people. That's the biggest problem. You're dealing with people. People do business with people. They don't do business with businesses. And just knowing how to kind of take a step back and not take anything personally, that's
Hmm.
been that's been the hardest thing. I would take things so personally early on, even 5 months ago. If I didn't land a job, I took it personal. Now I don't take things
Hmm.
personal. I got a customer right now. that I even gave him that 10% discount so that we wouldn't do all that back and forth, you know. And I told him that. It's like, well, I'm gonna offer you this 10% discount so we don't do this back and forth. And now he's wanting to do this back and forth. And it's just like, I can tell he's going to be a difficult customer. You call me, I'm
Hmm.
not going to call you anymore, which can be tough because I want to keep on hard selling him. So, from a personal development, it's actually helped me not to hard sell because I know my worth and um, I've just I'm trying to check my ego constantly, even with my team. Slow to anger, not get mad if I see something that's off when I'm doing a quick quality check. Um, and then, I feel like I've become a better person just
Mm.
because I've started this business because I've learned so much more about people. Um, Man, I had so many people lie to me when I first started this business. It was ridiculous. From customers to the people I would hire, it shook my reality in a lot of ways because I'm a very, I'm not naive, but I'm a very optimistic person and I always want to see the best in people.
Mhm.
And so I've had to learn to just see reality as it is, not the way it is in my actual head. So, um, that's been the probably the biggest change in my worldview. Um,
Nice, man. I know you mentioned like just that mindset shift. Like, what are some things that go on, like either in your head or things that you do to help stay focused and really make sure that it's always like keeping that level head, like making sure it's always for the client, things like that. Like, what do you do to stay focused on things like that?
everything starts in the morning. I not every morning, but probably 70% of the time, I wake up saying today's gonna be a good day. That's it. Everything starts up here. Everything starts up here, right in the head. Your perspective, everything is in the head. So I've had this conversation with my wife before around, including my team lead, around okay, there is a correct answer to this question. Should we be optimistic or should we be pessimistic? And my wife will roll her eyes and go, yeah, okay, whatever. Yeah, I know it's to be optimistic, but it's the most true thing you can. It's the only real thing is how you're perceiving the world, how you're seeing reality, how you're approaching things, and trying to approach it with a positive attitude. It makes the biggest change. And so from me waking up in the morning knowing I'm going to have a busy day, I got people I got to call, I got folks I got to check back in with, I got to make sure that I got my books in line as much as I can, trying to plan for the future constantly. Um, I have no other choice but to stay positive and optimistic because if I don't, I just know the business isn't going to succeed. When I first met my A team, my team lead for my A team, she told me that she left this other guy because of just respect. So just making sure that I'm giving everybody respect. And as much as I want to be liked, um, and everybody wants to be liked. I want to be liked and respected, but the most important thing is to be respected and to respect other people. Respect is, I've learned so much more about just, you know, how to deal with people. And it really, that's one of the big keys, just respecting people, giving respect in order to receive it. So just, yeah, that's, I've learned so much about people. It's just so
Yeah.
much about people. You go into sales and you just learn so much about how people carry themselves and yeah, people can be tough, but it is a hard egg to crack. I mean, figuring out people.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you mentioned you're like, I have no choice but to be positive. And I'm glad you've come to that conclusion, but you could choose to be miserable too.
No,
You totally could choose to be miserable too, but when you're looking yourself in the mirror and you're telling yourself this could be great, I have people to call, I have teams to check in on. It's like
mm,
we're setting it off on the right foot, and I think the butterfly effect is so
Mhm.
unbelievably real. And when you just start your day like that's showing up for your team, that's showing up for your customers, and it's like everybody has those people in their lives where it's like they're not positive all the
Hmm.
time. And
Yeah.
it's who wants to be around those people. So it's like now you're showing up for an estimate as that person. Well, even if your price is fantastic, your process is fantastic,
Mhm.
they love your team. If you're showing up like Oscar well, it's not the Grinch, the
The
Grump,
grouch.
the
Yeah.
Grouch. There we go.
Grouch.
The
I
Grouch. If you're
read the book
showing,
to my son every night. Yeah.
there you
There you
go.
go.
I'm glad I
He's
picked that
Oscar the
one.
Grouch.
If
Yeah.
you're showing up like Oscar the Grouch, you're not closing that thing whether you like it or not. So and I do love that about you. One of the things, Christian, you mentioned before that I really want to look into here is you're mentioning that you're going to the estimate and you're not always the cheapest. As a matter of fact, you're typically not the cheapest, but you're still
No.
landing the job. Half the contractors I talk to all the time are like, people are beating me out on price, like blah, 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 blah. And it's like, are they beating you out on price or are they beating you out on value? So for you,
Exactly.
when you conceptualize price versus value, what's coming
Exactly.
up?
Yeah. Oh, I mean, they can see the value in the way I carry myself, but yeah, I think it's because I am placing a strong emphasis on listening to the customer. I mean, I was listening to I know he's one of your good friends, Joe, and he was talking about the value.
But I wanted to ask you, Christian, just jumping back in here.
Hmm.
Um, you mentioned that when you wake up in the morning, you have people to talk to, crews to attend to, folks to talk to in terms of leads. To me, that just like screams abundance mindset. And I think it's no coincidence that you've seen the trajectory, at least this far into 2025, that you
Yeah.
have. How do you think this abundance mindset is showing up at your estimates? And how do you think this abundance mindset is showing up for your painters?
Let me address the painters first. I
Sure.
think it gives them a lot more confidence that they know work is going to continue to come.
Mm.
Everything starts with the estimate, and they see that I just had this conversation with my lead yesterday, uh, just about how um, like I can tell they're a lot more steady. They're a lot more they have more confidence in me. She can see how hard I'm working at getting jobs. She sees it. They're at my house right now painting downstairs doing some work, just painting the entire downstairs. And I left the house I think around right around like 11:30 or so because I had to meet with the estimate yesterday at 12. And I didn't get back till about 7. 7:30 really. And they were still here. They were finishing them up. They're trying to finish up. They're not done yet. But they saw I was gone all day. And I come back and I'm like, okay, well, guys, I got 2 more jobs we need to put on the schedule. Um, they see that I'm working and they see that I'm driving around. They see that I am. Um, they just see it. So, you know, starting with them, like it just they see it, and
Hmm.
it starts with me. If my one of my biggest fears is that they come to me, and I've heard you say this, Josh. They come to me and they're like, "Hey, Christian, why don't we have work? Like, what's going on here?" Like, it's my duty and my responsibility to make sure that I keep them busy. And right now, I have them busy all the way through the 19th of January, which is great. And
Wow.
it's
Let's
November
go.
27th. So I got more than enough work where I'm keeping them busy. Um, and then, what was your other question on
The
abundance
estimate. So
with
it's like
me?
how you showing up for the painters, how you showing up at the estimate with this abundance mindset. Because the first thing that comes to mind, not to throw words in your mouth or anything, but it's like, I felt a similar thing when I was running my painting company in the regard that it's like when I didn't need this estimate to go through,
Mhm.
all of a sudden this pretty girl's interested in me because
Yeah.
lo and behold, I didn't need her.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's how I feel about like the gentleman I was talking to you earlier about how I gave him that 10% discount and I'm not chasing after him. And if you're gonna ask me a million questions about the estimate, the proposal I provided you, and it's all pretty clear, and you're not a 7-year-old person that doesn't know how to use technology, but you're a 40-year-old person that does know how to use technology, you can clearly see how my proposal is laid out in a very professional way, and you're still asking me a bunch of questions. You're a customer I really don't want. because I can kind of tell that you're going to be difficult. So I don't have a problem with, now if you do hire me, that's fine. But I'm not going to bend over backwards to make sure like that I can squeeze you in between these other two jobs because, you know, my customers that have paid me deposits, they're my focus. It's not somebody I'm going to go back and forth with for a week. And if I'm not doing that, I'll do that once or twice and that's it. Stop. But them knowing I'm not chasing after them, I think they can tell I'm the real deal. And I've had customers tell me that. So the job we landed yesterday, the house is empty, big beautiful house in the center of Columbia, big beautiful house, and the homeowner actually had flooring guys there, and I was there for an hour. I think that's another thing. It's my estimating process where, like, I'm not going to get in and out. I'm not going to get in and out in 20, not 20 minutes, not even 20 minutes. A lot
You
of
leave
these
an
guys that
impression.
come in, they're in and out in 5 minutes. Me, I'm there for an hour, sometimes even longer. The one I was there for yesterday, I was there for almost 2 hours because the customer was jabbing. He was just talking, and I'm listening to him. And I didn't have anything else set up for the rest of the day, so, well, not until 5. So I was like, okay, I got plenty of time. I'll do this. And I think that it just shows them that I'm thorough. And I think that's the biggest thing is just taking your time doing an estimate. I've had customers, some of my larger customers, larger project customers tell me, we went with you because we could tell you were thorough. You took your time. You didn't just get in and out. And where the other guys were only here for like 10 minutes and they left. I mean, so if you're going to just be here for only 10 minutes, I mean, what else are you going to miss when you're actually here? Because I've walked into estimates that I've been thorough and I've still missed things where I was like, oh, that's actually rot, or I didn't even see that hole previously I was here. And we just have to kind of like not eat the cost, but that was an opportunity for me to kind of raise my price ever so slightly. And I don't want to miss those opportunities. So using, a really good system like CRM, like whether it's Paint Scout or Drip Jobs, and I use Drip Jobs, man, using that with your coaching, with, just, the processes that you guys have helped me out with. I mean, it's almost like a no-brainer for folks. They just know that, okay, if he's willing to do all this, then I think we're okay. It just assures them. It makes them feel better. And if at the end of the day, it starts with them. Like the value's not in the money, it's actually in the customer. And so when you put them at ease, it makes your job easier as well. Not always, but probably about 90% of the time for me. Not even letting it get to a point where, and letting them know that as well, you know, little things, during that. And I know we're getting away from your abundance question. Sorry.
That's okay. Go wherever
All
we
good,
need to
man.
go.
But they can kind of tell you're the real deal. So I think the number one podcast, not podcast, but the number one TED Talk of all time is, and I can't remember the name of the TED Talk, but you can find it out there. And she talks about how, like, she was, I think, a psychology major in college, and she felt unsure of herself. And essentially the entire TED Talk was around, like, don't fake it till you make it, fake it till you become it. And so
I like that.
I've been constantly working on, and that's a great, and that's honestly, it's a great mindset just to have, just in general, just about life. So going back to like waking up in the morning and being positive and having that abundance mindset, like I know, like 5 years from now, I'm going to be really successful, and I have I have a lot of confidence in myself and my team, and even if hiccups happen, because I know it's going to happen, speed bumps are going to happen. Well, it's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not going to change anything. Like, I already know where I'm going, and I'm expecting these speed bumps to happen. And how can I just always look for solutions? Not have a knee-jerk reaction. How can I look for solutions? And so that I can continue to just grow. I mean, it's all mindset, man. It really is. It's crazy. I truly do believe if you can change your mindset, you can almost do anything.
I love it, man. Like all those different things. It's like it's so overlooked a lot of times where people are like, "Oh no, I just got to go do the estimate. I don't care about that." It's like you're missing it, right? Like there's so much there to make sure that you're in a good place, even mentally, to prepare yourself for, because things are going to happen, right? If you're running a business, you know that there's going to be things that come up, or maybe there might be a next fire or something that comes up, right? So it's just so important. And when we go back into like tying that into, let's say, when leads come in, right? Like for you, Christian, what has been the most important things you do to make sure that leads are getting taken care of so that you can go book those estimates and book those jobs to be able to meet with those clients? What's your process?
That pre-sales call is honestly, it might be 90% of you landing that job.
Yep.
That pre-sales, it's no joke. Like you asking questions, as soon as that Facebook booking form comes in with their information, I'm asking questions. Like I'm not getting in and out when it comes to that phone call. Like I am on the phone call with them. I've been on phone calls with folks asking about their project for up to 15, 20 minutes. I mean, just asking questions. Interior job. Okay. Oh, cool. Great. How many rooms are there? And just then asking a million questions. And then, oh, you moving in? When's this going to happen? How soon do you need this to happen? Just asking questions. I mean, it is, and I've heard you say this, Jimmy. I can't remember when you said this on a past podcast, but, or maybe it was Joel or Joe, your buddy that said it.
Joe, yeah.
Can you, I never remember what it was. He said it was a sales manager that told him, I'll give, some sort of incentive to somebody, whoever can land a job by only asking questions. I mean, asking questions is so important because it also builds that trust that when you go to the estimate, they already know, oh man, this guy asked me all these questions. I can already tell he's the real deal. And then you show up, not only for like professionally dressed, but polite. I'm typically a little bit more clean shaven than this, and then just continuing to ask even more questions. I mean, they answer their own questions. They honestly do. Even if there's like if you get to a point where you're trying to, objection handling, and the job we're doing right now, an exterior job in Chapin, South Carolina, I sold it for, I think it was 83, somewhere in that ballpark.
Nice.
And she's like, oh, I had this other painter say he's going to do it for 4,000. And I was like, 4,000? Were you expecting the price to be, in a nice way? It's like, oh, you don't mind me asking, kind of like what you were expecting the price to be? And, she answers, well, I mean, you are doing more work than he is. Like, she answered her own question. It is so true. Just don't make statements. Never make statements. Just ask questions. It really does work. It really honestly does work. Yeah.
I love it, man. Yeah, 100%. If you ask more questions, you never assume. And I've seen it like with painters that just start out, they just start assuming things. And the biggest thing you'll see here is the homeowner being like, no, it's not that. Or you're like, oh, you want to get it fresh because it's dirty. It's like, no, my walls aren't dirty. It's like, oh, you're losing it. Like you're already making assumptions on the wrong thing. Then they feel like they're either not listening or being like heard, or you're just making these assumptions that aren't even true. So then they kind of get upset because it's like, you just called my walls dirty. Meanwhile, it's like, that wasn't the thing the reason that they wanted to get it painted. It's like, oh, now you're in kind of a tougher spot or hot water, right? So it's so true, man. I honestly appreciate you like going through everything, because there's just so much to like unpack with a painting business. What would you say to someone who's considering our services, whether it's painting, remodeling? What would you say to them?
Probably the biggest thing I would say to them is like, they got to be open to just coaching and listening to folks, because the thing is, you don't know everything. And man, Jimmy, I'll tell you, this is how I kind of knew that you guys were really trying to help me. And if you're looking for a marketing company, anybody that can kind of help you just scale, this is how I knew you guys were really truly trying to help me. You and I were talking, and you kept on. I got so stuck on your question about what's a good time that you can do an estimate for somebody, Christian? And I was like, okay, well, I want to get there as soon as I can. speed the lead, right? And you're like, okay, well, if they told you they had, 4 other estimates, occurring this week as well, what's another good time? I was like, well, I mean, I, s- I got stuck. Like we went on, like your patience with me. It felt like maybe half an hour. Maybe it wasn't that long, but it felt like it was half an hour. And then finally it just clicked. I was like, I guess I could just come in after all the other guys if they have all these other painters, providing them estimates this week. I don't have to, be the first guy there. Or I just got so stuck on like I got to be the first guy there. And then it finally, like you want me to think. You don't want to give me the answer because I need to be willing to think. And as a business owner, and that's what separates, I guess, being a business owner and being an entrepreneur, really, because that's the goal. Most people, everybody wants to say they're an entrepreneur when they're really just a business owner. Like, I really want to be an entrepreneur. And in order to do that, I need to learn how to think. And you got me to think on that. And I knew you were getting me to think. And so if you're a company out there, just trying to figure out, okay, what can I be doing better? They got to be able to accept coaching. I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, you got to be willing to listen because people have information, have knowledge, they have experience that you don't have. And, and the only way you can, get into that growth mindset is you got to be willing to just be humble and learn. Don't think that you know all the answers. It's that ego. You got to just drop the ego and just be like, okay, what am I doing wrong here? No.
Thank you, man. That was, yeah. I remember. I was like trying to remember, like go back to our coaching, and I was like, oh yes, okay,
Yeah.
got it.
Oh
It was
man,
like
I
I
know that
don't.
must have been frustrating for you. It had to be
No,
because I
no,
just kept
it's
on like saying the same thing over again. I'm like, dude, is this a trick question? Like, what is
the
going on here?
yeah. The thing that goes through my mind is like I don't give out answers because if I give it to you, it's in one ear out the other, and it's just going to stunt your growth,
Mhm.
right? And I want you to practice like what we preach here because it's like I want you to be like that with your painters, with your team leads. Same thing.
Yeah.
Easy questions that they're going to give. Well, guess what? They're always going to come back to Christian and ask like, "Oh, I'm out of paint," or "This is happening." It's like, well, if you keep giving them answers, you're teaching them to just rely on you for everything.
Exactly.
That's how you get stuck. So good stuff, man. And you got it, right? And I believed in you. Like I knew you would be able to get it. Not, I don't give out answers. Like it's just not worth it for you. And if we have to sit there for an hour, so be it. I'm okay with that.
No.
As long as you get if you get like what's going on and you actually are able to take that and then grasp it and put it into your arsenal for, running your business, that's such a win. I'm willing to do that. So that's awesome, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that one, that scenario that we had, that little practice session, I've used a lot. Um, I guess can I say it here? What was the result of that session?
By all means, please.
It was coming in after everybody and letting them know like, hey, I don't want you to lose your 10% discount. Let me, so let me just come in after everybody else. You got 3 other folks coming in already. You I could get you set up today, but I don't want you to lose that estimate, that 10% discount. Let me just come in after everybody, and then I can also review everybody else's estimate with you and see, well, how do I differ with them? And at the same time, the other painting companies, they can't defend their quote. They're not the last guy. So little things like that. I've had that scenario occur multiple times. It's like, I'm just going to come in after everybody else. Is that okay? And they never complain. They just say, yeah, it's fine. I haven't had a single person say, I need you to just come in before them. No, it's like, they don't have a problem with it.
Yeah, and I mean, like, and if we're really breaking that down, for everybody that's listening here, it's like, why does that even work? The reason why that works is because we're framing it in their best interest. You notice when
Exactly.
Christian said, I don't want you to lose your 10% discount. Now it's for them. If I go ahead and I say, I want to make sure that like you get all your quotes so I can see if I come in competitively, it's like, okay, how is that going to show up for the client? But when we're framing it as it's like, man, I really want to save you some money here. So, what I'll do just to help you out, I'm going to go ahead and come in after these guys just so we can save you some money. End of the day, we want to get you the best price possible on this project and make sure we're delivering everything possible for you that you even want in this project. And then I'll be able to kind of cross-reference even other quotes and stuff like that so you'll get the best possible quote. Does that sound fair? Yeah, that sounds fair.
Boom.
Dude,
Right.
that word fair, it like for whatever reason,
Fair's good, right?
It's a
fair
good
is
one.
a good word.
Yeah.
Just is that fair? Is that fair? Oh man, I've been using that too. Oh dude, it's just something about that word that just it just clicks. It really does. It's like a secret word or something. I don't know. It's just it just works.
That's a Hermosi mannerism actually, and he because the way that he closes people, and again, fair is so good because it's like I didn't say if that sounded good, by the way. I asked if it sounded fair, and whenever Hermosi goes for the close, he says one of his favorite closes is, "Okay, so we'll do this, we'll do that, fair enough, fair enough, right?" I think that's all the time we have for our podcast today, Christian. Thank you, good sir.
Seriously.
We really
Thank you,
appreciate
guys.
your time. It's been honestly so exciting and just a breath of fresh air, just seeing your growth across these past 5 months here. It's been a wonderful spectacle for us to watch just on our side, just because yeah, you're developing your business, but we can also see that you're clearly developing you. And I don't even know which one I value more, but I know I value both. If you guys listening want to see what it might be like to experience something like what Christian experienced with us, we'll have some links down below the video. If you guys have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below as well. If you think I'm ugly, you hate Christian, whatever it is, please, just throw it down there. We'd love to hear from you guys. Other than that, thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you guys in the next.
Let's go.
Thanks,
Cheers.
guys.